I don't want to judge, but there's people grow up in certain situations, and some of it is fight or flight, and some of it is just program. And there's no one side that's technically right, but again, back in the days, you had slaves who were just happy to be in the house and chilling.
Just to be clear, he was a black man.
I know. I'm saying
all
back in the there've always been slaves who were happy being slaves.
Oh,
and they saw the positives to it. So
let me ask you this:
nothing you can change.
Do you think there are any slaves who actually had it good? Like remember Samuel L. Jackson in Django?
Oh, God.
Like
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a good gig he had.
Absolutely.
When you saw behind the scenes the respect that Mr. Candy had for that guy, then you realize that it might not even be about race anymore. This whole thing might be a big power play. He doesn't believe different skulls do different things. Like clearly the person he respects most in the world is Samuel L. Jackson. Like when he goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, but there was a lot of the nannies were black, and so that's why Gone with the Wind. There's Mammy was loved so much. You know what I mean? There's always been that scenario.
I think you're kind of missing a little bit of the point with Sam Jackson and Leo DiCaprio and Django. There was definitely a barrier there. There was a hierarchy that would never be crossed. And Sam Jackson knew he was the houseboy and had to be it. And Candy knew that he would crack his skull open if he crossed him.
But at the same time, there was that
mutual respect.
Right. They had this. But
I don't know. Remember,
I don't know.
Do you remember when Candy went in the room and Sam was sitting in the chair?
We're drinking Mr. Candy's drink with his glass. He's drinking they're drinking out of the same glass.
Yeah.
Think about that.
There was a scene he was telling him what to do and saying that they were there for that girl.
Yeah, and he's doing it. He's not.
And he wasn't doing it as an underling.
You need to know, sir.
Exactly.
He was saying,
no. Sam Jackson's part in it had been because he had been that's his life. I mean, his life was looking at this guy as the be all end all of his existence.
Yeah, that's a good fucking movie.
He was, but
genius.
I think DiCaprio's character was more like, loved his dog too. Yeah. I think that's kind of how he looked at it.
Absolutely, he did not know. Yeah, we're not saying DiCaprio saw him as an equal.
Yeah,
by any means, but he was still a loved character.
I think that he saw him as much of an equal as he saw anyone in the world, though. Like it's not like I think he saw him above those crazy hillbillies that lived out there and
he did
in that shed.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Yeah. He saw that he was higher up than the white hunters, the slave hunters and those guys.
So it's a little bit different than the first plantation, which was like, you want me to treat him like white folks? That ain't what I said. That is not what I said.
And Sam Jackson really enjoyed having that power over everyone else on the plantation. Yeah. He was the voice of Leo DiCaprio when he wasn't around, and he knew and used and abused that power. So, again, power corrupts.
But again,
that's a thing.
And that'll never beep at you again. That bitch hadn't beeped at me in a long time.
That's what you almost said. I know.
Woody's got no chill.
He's got no chill. We got.
What does that even refer to?
Time.
I always thought that meant raccoon.
It does.
You said something last time that a whole bunch of people got upset in the comments.
I will never get over the various shit I say.
And I told them, dudes, chill. Jesus. Oh my God. If I'm not taking shit personal, you guys got to relax. It's all we're all family.
I appreciate it. Bro. Coon's age means a very long time. It is an Americanism that has fallen out of favor and is considered offensive by many people. I didn't know that. Coon is slang for raccoon, coined in the mid-1700s. A coon's age was first used in the 1800s. In fact, it owes its origin to the folk belief that raccoons are long-lived. Okay.
Yeah, I think it also has an alternative thing where people of a certain background in America were thought of as criminals because of the raccoons. Thing, so
one of those Hamburglar disguises.
Yeah.
I still don't see that
they refer to certain
raccoons have those blacked out eyes as their fur markings.
But I don't see how that.
Well, it goes back to
they called robbers coons, And then they made black people are robbers, of course, according to some people. And,
do we really have to spell this out for you, bro? Like,
yes,
come
we
on.
You really do. I totally don't even get it. I'm like,
He's
how
not
does this?
kidding.
How does this get to period of time? I don't understand.
I'm trying to be sensitive here. I don't.
Was I? That's why I did it quickly, like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, so don't be calling the brothers that on a nice day.
No,
Yes.
I mean, I heard it for the first time, I think, from like one of those old timey like westerns or something like that, and the character definitely meant a raccoon because they were like eating frog legs and possums and shit in the woods, like
Okay.
So that's how I mean it when I say it. A funny little colloquialism or whatever, and
Totally understandable.
It doesn't make a fuck. You're not offended anyway because you're not a baby like some people.
But at some time, you still got to be careful. You know.
I think it's more important. Man, I wish it was more about like what's in the person's heart, but I guess you can't know that all the time.
But it's never. Well, that's the thing, right? And
it's not like, and we're not having a private conversation anyway. So it's
exactly, yeah.
Too, you know.
And it's funny because I've seen a lot of I could tell you a story. We could talk for days about the racist stuff that happens. Like I could tell you that, I used to have to send my wife to buy property because my ex is white.
Yeah.
So I would have to send her to buy certain properties because they wouldn't sell to black people.
Of course.
And there's nothing I could do about it. And that was this is like happens to me every single day. Like I was at the Range Rover dealership like 2 days ago, and some guy asked me to go fetch his car for him.
Oh dear.
Like this is so when you hear, there's some guys out there who are like, oh, hey, why do you have to make everything about race?
What were you wearing at the Range Rover dealership?
I was wearing Lacoste running shoes. I was wearing jeans, and I was wearing
the jeans
polo.
Like, all right, why does he think you're fucking working in jeans? What I was thinking is like, if you were like, I was dressed like a porter, like white button-up shirt, some khakis, and some black shoes on. No,
I know, Wolf, but because what Kyle was saying used to happen to me all the time. So when I was
trying to give
young,
him some kind of an excuse.
I was like 19 or 20, and I worked as a junior accountant at my dad's firm. And because the job required a tie and a button-down shirt, and I was so proud of myself. Now I worked for my dad. I shouldn't have been proud of myself, but I, in my head, felt like I was.
I'm sorry. Can I interject?
Yeah.
I know a little bit about your father's standards. You should have been very proud that you know that if you had not been able to cut it, you wouldn't have had that job. You know that.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with nepotism, brother.
You should be proud that your father thought you had it and invited you into his business and didn't pawn you off to some competitor. Like, I sent him over there to work for Dave across the street.
I worked for a client.
Proud to have you work for him. That's it.
But yeah, you're right. Actually, if I was to embarrass him, he would have never hired me. But anyway, the job required me to dress nice, shirt, tie, like a junior accountant back in the day. I was proud of myself because I felt like I had my shit together at a young age. Every time I'd go like grocery shopping, I'm like, I bet all these people think, wow, that young man really has his act together. What they actually thought, where's the bread? Can you help me find this? They always thought I was a retail employee because I was dressed nice.
Yeah, same thing. When I was like 19, one of those cringy and like confidence shattering moments as a salesman early on was greeting a guy at the door and being like, hey, I'm Kyle. Welcome to Team Ford. How can I help you? Or like I don't remember the exact spiel, but something like that. And being like, what are you, a greeter? And I remember thinking like, I could take you, old man.
I'm the assassin, mother trucker.
You bitch. I'm not the greeter.
See, there's a kind of I don't know if you call it a fallacy or what have you, but there's always a thing where I will tell certain people about certain situations and they're like, hey, that happened to me, but it had nothing to do with it because I was black. Because I had tattoos or I had a long beard. And I go, there's a difference. And that's part of the thing is that you can't, when you see it from my eyes, then you understand it because, you can shave off that beard or hide those tattoos and then that problem wouldn't occur.
Yeah.
Whereas I can't do that. You know what I mean? And it's like, you try to teach people, but it's unless you're like, again, my ex is white. She could tell you stories for days about, getting pulled over and them seeing her. And then you have to experience it. And otherwise it's very hard to comprehend. No,
I believe it's true. I've seen plenty of videos. I obviously haven't lived it, but I believe everything you're saying. I know it's true.
And I'm very well spoken, educated, yada yada yada. And I know that I took pre-law in university, so if the cop tried to give me a hard time, I'd know the right things to say and to make them worried about their jobs opposed to me worried about living. You know what I mean? And so
there are a few phrases and euphemisms that are used that are to politely describe a black man, and well spoken is one of them. And I was surprised to hear you use it because, like, when I hear that, that's a little bit of a dog whistle to me. Joe Biden used to do that stuff to Obama when he was running for president.
Articulate.
He's programmed articulate.
He called him articulate.
You don't sound black. I was like,
and clearly, what Joe Biden, whether you like it or not, meant it. Is he's very articulate for a black man. That's what he means. He'd have never said that about fucking Bob Dole or Bill Clinton. He's well spoken. He's articulate. Like, yeah. What do you mean? He speaks as well as like the other 50 guys who graduated from Yale. If
Obama was a white Jewish guy, he wouldn't be like, he speaks pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, I know, brother.
That's a whole different kind of racism, though.
But again, he's used to that, and he's been used to that his entire life, and he's used to hearing it. So it's like there's a point where you just got to choose your battles, right? And you're like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we could, if I yelled at I'm a professional paintball player, which is like one of the most redneck sports that exist, and it's like, but I'm very blessed because I never experienced any racism in the game. That's why I love the game so much. Like, nope. Didn't have any problems, any issues at a game.
Well, you play video games. I bet you find it there. You're not making it through them all.
Call of Duty lobby is no joke. Jesus Murphy. I mean, it's calmed down a bit. Like Warzone is not as bad as it used to, but they enabled a lot of ways for you to get people booted, right? But back in the old days, you guys know how crazy it was. Like, oh my God.
It was, I mean, and we were as guilty as anybody. I don't think I said some of the more horrific things, but like I'd get in those petty arguments with little children on the internet. And I was like 25 years old. And I was screaming.
I did it last night. I don't care what you're talking about.
Not me. I was a YouTuber almost from the get-go, and my Xbox gamer tag was WoodysGamertag. There was no hiding in there. I was always polite. I
stood behind what I said because it was always just like shit talking. It was they would be complaining about our tactics or whatever when we're on we were so try hard. We were probably on like a 50-game win streak every night or something like that. And I was just like, it doesn't matter what we do. We will always be better than you. We can do anything we want. You can try as hard as you want and you'll never beat us. Stay right where you are. We love it. We love it. And then just mute them all and just play against them all night.
Yeah.